Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Girls Like You. My name is Mikael, RN, BSN. Y'all, 2 years later, seeing those credentials, hearing that out loud still. Listen, those are the credentials that we all aspire to have behind our names as nurses, as LPN, as ADN prepare RN, as BSN prepare, as MSN, as NP. Those are the credentials that we want. Those are the credentials that we manifest, that we aspire to have behind our names. So in today's video, if you want tips on how you can be a successful nursing student, then this video is for you. So first things first, quick disclaimer. I did not pass nursing school the first time. I failed MedSurg during my second semester and I had to repeat the course. I had to wait an entire year before I was able to go back. At my school, you could only fail twice. So since I had already failed once, I literally went through and did all that I could do to be successful the second year, because if I was not successful, I would have been kicked out of the nursing program and I would have had to start completely over. So some of the tips that I'm giving you guys are tips that I did not implement my first time around. They were tips that I put in place my second year so that I could be successful and pass out of the nursing program. I was not by far the perfect nursing student. I failed. I did things wrong. I made a lot of corrections. There was a lot of trial and error. But ultimately, with the things that I'm about to name, I was able to get there. I was able to pass these classes, and here I am, a registered nurse. All right, guys, so tip number one. Y'all had to know whenever you decided to apply for the nursing program that it was gonna be hard. It was gonna be rigorous. It was gonna be time consuming. Your life was gonna be over. You weren't gonna be able to do this, do that. Ugh. All that stuff I know people were telling you before you started the nursing program, but I'm sure that they also added that it was doable. My first tip is to, one, prioritize. I know that you have other things going on in your life. You're now in nursing school, you are working, you may have a family, you have extracurricular activities that you're a part of. There's a bunch of other things that you might have going on in your life, and school is just one of those. But at some point, you have to literally sit and prioritize all of those things. Yes, of course, you have a family. You got to take care of your kids. You got to keep your husband happy. You got to do all of those things. But to some extent, you're going to have to compromise, because what will this nursing degree do for you and your family in the future? So at some point, unfortunately, you might have to miss a soccer game. You might not be able to go to the club with your friends at night. You might have to miss one of those dinners. But you have to prioritize nursing school to some extent. If it's doable, if you can cut back your hours of working full time, then you might want to do that. I attribute my failure in the nursing program the first time to me just kind of doing too much. I was working full time and I didn't even have to work full time. In nursing school, you can work, but it's not recommended if you don't have to. So I was still trying to work, 3 shifts a week, night shift. And, it worked out because I got out of class at 5. I didn't have to work my night shift job until 6:30, 7 p.m. I got off at 7 in the morning. Class started at 8. I thought I had time to do that. But where I messed up at is that I wasn't giving myself enough time to actually rest in between. I was going straight from school to work and from work back to school. So I wasn't even fully there. I wasn't able to apply myself directly in class because I was tired. I was falling asleep. I was dozing off in class, and that was not good. So I did not prioritize nursing school the way I should have, because I still wanted to be able to make my money. I didn't want to have to lose. I didn't want to have to compromise. I didn't want to have to sacrifice anything in order to be successful in the nursing program. And it showed. That's part of the reason why I failed the first time. But I'm not saying cut out everything that you have to do. I know you have your families, you have your children, you have your other extracurricular activities. You might be trying to pledge. You have other things that you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, you have to remember what's most important and where that will get you in the future. So if nursing school is what's going to open up a lot of doors for you 2-3 years from now, then you need to seriously prioritize nursing school. This is your education. This is your money. You'll do what you see fit for your life. Tip number 2, develop and improve your time management skills. I personally am kind of OCD. I'm very anal. I thought I had really good time management skills until I started nursing school. So whenever I started nursing school, we had a course. It was peds, psych, and maternity. It was one class, but each specialty group or whatever was 5 weeks long. So in 5 weeks, we had to get through books this thick. We had clinicals we had to attend, we had care plans, we had regular assignments, we had tests, we had quizzes, we had all of this stuff that we had to get through. And during week 1, there was, it wasn't that syllabus week. It wasn't no chill week. We got the ball rolling as soon as we showed up to class the first day. So first day, they're telling you by, next class on Thursday, you need to have read 30 pages. You need to have read chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm like, dang. But they also want you to do practice questions. And I'm like, okay, practice questions. Practice questions are based on the content you would have learned from reading the chapters, right? So I also feel like part of the reason why I failed the first time is because I did not have good time management. Whenever I was failing those tests, I was showing up and meeting with my professors, and I was like, I didn't even have time to do questions because I barely had time to get through all of the chapters. That's a big thing. You're going to feel like it's impossible, but it's not. And I know you're going to hate to hear this. If you haven't already heard this a bunch from your professors, from other people, you're about to hear it again from me. But you got to make time somehow. And this is where having really good organization and time management skills really plays a big part on your success in the nursing program. There's no way around it. So for me, what that meant was creating a very specific study schedule. I might do a separate video on that because I feel like it would be really detailed, and I would actually have to show y'all how I did it. But I created a very specific study schedule. It was based on assignments I had due that week. It was based on questions that I needed to practice. It was based on tests, quizzes, anything upcoming. It was based on things due for clinical. It was based on when the next class was. So if this class met on Monday and it met on Wednesday, it's honestly, y'all, it's just a lot for me to even try to briefly describe right now without showing y'all. But if you need tips on how to do this, feel free to reach out to me. I have my email in the bio, or you can hit me up on social media. My handles are also in the bio. I would love to help you with your organization skills because I feel like that was a big part of my success in the nursing program my second year around. My first year, I kind of was winging it and I was doing what I could do, but I had no real structure, so I was kind of just all over the place. I also want to say that this benefits you a lot in creating a specific study schedule and actually writing it out, because whenever you go to meet with your professors, you can physically show them how you are trying to prepare the best you can for success in this nursing program, and they respect that. I had time frames, I had the gym written in there, I had sleep time written in there, to the T. That's all I can say, to the T. I want to say there's also a rule of thumb for study hours, but I can't remember exactly what it is. If y'all remember, leave it in the comments below. But it's something along the lines of if this course is worth 4 credit hours and you should study for at minimum 4 hours a week. I really feel like I'm saying that wrong, and that's the low number, but it's something like that. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, developing your time management skills, that's major key. So tip number 3, develop study skills that are specific to nursing. You are gonna have to do this, okay? Nursing is not like any other degree you may have studied for. I had a degree in sociology prior to returning to nursing school, and they were not one and the same. Completely different study habits needed to be developed, completely different method of studying, all of that. It's not like studying for chemistry. It's not like studying for anything else you've ever studied for. Like I said, nursing is very application based. So they're going to teach you a lot of content, but you have to know how to apply that to a real life scenario. There are going to be a lot of questions about medications, but they don't just want to know the drug class and how this medication works. They want to know that if you are given a scenario or you are put in a situation or a simulation, that you can apply what you've learned about these medications to the field, to the patient. They want to know that what you have learned in these books is enough for you to apply to the situation and keep your patient alive. So that's the reason why knowing how to study for nursing specifically is extremely important, because your questions won't be cookie cutter. They won't be like, what is a beta blocker? What is propranolol? It's going to be a scenario, and they're going to tell you to choose which one of those medications is best for that scenario. So there's no other way around it. You have to learn how to study for nursing specifically. The fourth tip is to incorporate self-care. That's whatever it means for you, to be honest. For me, my first year, I was so focused on applying, and I was so focused on reading and keeping my head in the books and trying to get through all of that content so that I would have time to do those application questions, that I completely neglected my mental health. I didn't work out. I didn't meal prep, so I wasn't eating healthy. I was just eating whatever I could get my hands on. I wasn't going to therapy. I didn't offer myself incentives. I was so focused on trying my hardest to be successful the first time around that I didn't do any of those things. And ultimately, I think that was another reason why I was unsuccessful in the program. My anxiety kicked in, and my anxiety probably kicked in because I was tired, because I was working and I wasn't getting the proper amount of rest in between classes. I was staying up for like 24 hours at a time. And eventually, like, I started getting anxiety, and the anxiety started to like interrupt my daily life. I wasn't able to focus. I was taking tests. I had headaches. I was like holding my head. It was a lot. But I made sure to incorporate self-care the second year around, because I was still battling with anxiety and I was still getting headaches daily. And I learned from going to the ER a couple times, because, you know, as a nursing student, you're like, oh, I'm having heart palpitations, you can go to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and I got there, and the doctors were like, oh, I think it's just anxiety. You just have a stress-induced headache. You need to go home and practice self-care. Other things like incentives. That was another thing that I did not do at all. My first year in the nursing, my second year too, because I had already failed. And like I said, you can only fail most nursing programs, you can only fail out once, really. They say if you fail twice, you get kicked out. So really, you can only fail once, y'all. If you fail twice, then you got to start completely over. So my second year around, I've already failed once. So the second time, I head was in the books. I was like, every tip I'm telling y'all applied, and that was my life. I didn't offer myself incentives. I did go to the gym. I did find new places to study that were like conducive to learning, but I didn't offer myself incentives. And when I say incentives, I would have friends that would be like, hey, you want to go study? You want to go do this? You want to go do that? I mean, not study. They would be like, you want to go out to dinner? You want to go out to this club? You want to go out to a bar? I would always say no. No, never wanted to go, because I always felt like there was something else that I could be doing. So offer yourself incentives. If you study, if you get an A, if you pass this test, if you get ahead on your studies, you got all your work done, if you are feeling productive that week, then give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Go hang out with your friends. You don't literally have to abandon your social life because you're in nursing school. You're going to have to compromise and make sacrifices sometimes, maybe 75% of the time, but you still will have time every once in a while to enjoy your family and friends. So do that. Tip number 5, develop positive relationships with your professors and your clinical instructors. This is also a key. I did not realize where I was going wrong with a lot of my studying until I started planning meetings for advisement with my professors. Those professors create those tests. These are the same professors that are basically telling you what to study, what to read, how to prepare for these tests. You want to meet with them. Whether you got an A, if it wasn't 100%, you want to meet with them at least once. You want to be able to sit down in front of them, show your face so that they know who you are, and you want to be able to pick their brains a little bit. You want to be able to ask them questions. You want to be able to understand why you got what you got wrong on that test so that you don't do it again on the next test. Especially if you're getting C's and below. If your program requires you get a C or a B, then you need to be in their office after every test if your professor allows. With your clinical instructor, same thing. If you need more hands-on skill time, then you need to let that be known. You got to keep in mind that these people are adults and you are not the only student in that class. You have to be willing to reach out to them and tell them what you need. Hey, I need to meet with you. I'm struggling and I can't figure out why. That's part of the reason why I tell y'all that schedule is necessary, because these professors are probably going to have a bunch of students that want to meet with them one-on-one, and they can't go through and offer personalized plans for each of their students. You have to be able to go in and show them what it is you're doing so that they can offer suggestions. Otherwise, when you go in for advisement, you're going to get generic suggestions. You're going to get basic, oh, well, did you do questions? Well, yeah, I did questions. You have to be able to show something to them that proves that you're doing the work and you're not expecting them to give you all the answers or like pretty much like coach you into earning your A, you know? Tip number 6, keep an open mind. Nursing school is not easy. It's not easy. We've already said this. You know this already. Nursing school is not easy. You have to keep an open mind. The way that you plan to study for your MedSurg course might not be the same way you need to plan to study for your pediatric course. They are completely different specialties. What you're going to learn here is not the same thing you're going to learn there. So you might need to adjust. How you study for community health nursing, how you study for leadership, those are not the same as how you study for MedSurg and psych. You got to know that. You have to keep your mind open to new study techniques. Group studying may have worked for the first test, but if it don't work the second and the third test, you might need to figure out something else. Maybe group studying doesn't work for you. Maybe individual study doesn't work for you. But you have to keep your mind open and know that in order for you to be successful in the nursing program, you're going to have to be willing to like adjust. Everything won't be the same. It's not a cookie cutter program. There's multiple ways to do things, and that's something that you will learn after you successfully pass a nursing program and you become an RN. What I learned and what I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the I quit my job as a registered nurse video, is that even though I had like 20 plus preceptors, there were multiple ways for me to learn and do things. And I was appreciative at the end of it all because now I'm travel nursing, I'm at a new hospital, and I'm seeing how they do things. And I already know that because I learned how to do it that way at my old hospital. You know, I learned how to do it multiple ways. So whenever I saw them do it that way, it wasn't hard for me to adapt because I've been learning like that. I've been flexible. You have to be flexible in the nursing program. Tip number 7, be patient with yourself. Like I said, nursing is hard. You're going to fail a couple times. Maybe you probably don't necessarily have to fail a class like I did, but you might fail a couple tests. And when I say fail, you might not literally be getting an F, but if passing in your nursing program is a B and you get a C, then that's failing. Sorry. But that might happen a couple times. You're going to be disappointed, you're going to be angry, you're going to feel discouraged, but you have to know that that's a part of the nursing program. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. Nursing is hard, and you have to allow yourself time to develop. You are new to nursing. It's not expected of you to know exactly how to study for nursing during your first semester. It's not expected of you to know all of your medications during the first 2 weeks of class. There's a lot of expectations that we hold ourselves to that our professors don't even hold us to. So you have to be patient with yourself. Do the work, of course. Make your plans, meet with your professors, develop better time management skills, prioritize nursing, do all of the other tips that I've mentioned, but at the end of the day, once you've done them all, be patient with yourself. Reevaluate, take a break, implement that self-care, and figure out another way to go about your success in the program. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to adapt and change to, you know, the program, because I know I sure did. I know I sure did. And lastly, tip number 8, reach out to your support system, whoever that is, whether it's those professors, your friends, your family. Let them know that this is going to be a tough program. You might not always be able to hang out. You might not always be available to pick up the phone while you're studying, but you're still there. You are just prioritizing something that is greater than you right now, and you're doing all that you can to be successful. Reach out for support and encouragement. You are not the first nursing student. There was somebody before you that can offer you tips and encouragement. There are people that are behind you that are looking up to you for motivation. So all in all, be real, be authentic, be transparent, tell people what's going on, because the only way for you to get the help, the only way for you to really benefit from the encouragement, the motivation, the therapy, is for you to be 100% honest with yourself and what's going on. Last thing I wanted to say is that hard times do not last, tough people do. And I know that's like cliche or corny or whatever, but it's the truth. You ain't no weak are you? Exactly, I know you're not. So get it done. It's for you. If it's for me, it's for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below any of the tips that you plan to implement during your duration in the nursing program. Be sure to share this video with another nursing student or an aspiring nursing student. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, we love it here. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to Girls Like You. My name is Mikhail, and in today's video, Nova, go home. Sorry. Money reside. Where the money reside? Is it Albert Einstein? Didn't he fail out of college or something? No. Stop. It's a good thing I messed up. The vigorosity, is that a word? These dogs, hold on y'all. Home. Ooh, child, don't have kids. Hey, these dogs. Stop it. Stop it. Child, ooh, Jesus be offensive. Oh, that one.